Heartwarming tale, billionaire CEO exposed in crisis. This woman gave them life-changing hope. On a chilly autumn evening, the town of Maplewood pulsated with a collective heartbeat, each thump resonating with struggles wrapped in whispered dreams. Sarah, a 32-year-old single mother, braved the cool air, waiting for her moment to shine. Life had dealt her a tough hand since her husband walked out, leaving her to fend for their 2 kids. She balanced sleepless nights and endless shifts as a waitress at the local diner, her dreams buried beneath a mountain of worry. Tonight was different. A community fundraising event aimed at reigniting hope flickered in the air. As Sarah stood on that makeshift stage, surrounded by townsfolk, she felt the weight of her world. "We can't let this closure define us," she cried, her voice trembling yet filled with conviction. "We are stronger together." The crowd responded, faces lit with hope, their tattered spirits momentarily weaving together like a vibrant canvas. In that moment, Sarah wasn't just a mother or a waitress, she was a lighthouse in a storm, guiding her community back to shore. Just as she began to sway the crowd, a figure emerged from the shadows. Jack, the aloof billionaire CEO fashioned in a tailored suit, stood observing an island of wealth amid the sea of struggle. He embodied the very division that intensified the pain of Maplewood. But tonight, as Sarah's passionate words enveloped him, something inside him shifted. Unbeknownst to her, her story gripped his heart, stirring memories of childhood shadows he had buried beneath his corporate success. With each heartfelt statement, Sarah built a bridge. "Our factory may be closed," she proclaimed, "but our spirits are not. Together we can rebuild, together we can thrive." People nodded, tears brimming in their eyes, legends of resilience kindling within them. The energy in the air crackled like the autumn leaves swirling at their feet, igniting a fire of hope and tenacity. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the event unfolded, every word Sarah spoke echoed in Jack's heart. He saw the faces of the townsfolk, their hope mingled with worry, laughter mingled with pain. Could he really stand there? With every second she spoke, he felt an unfamiliar emotion breaking through the wall he had built around himself. She was more than just a single mother, she was a miracle worker, challenging him beyond his profit-driven world. Just when it seemed their fates might intertwine, Jack stepped toward the mic, gripping it tightly, his heart pounding. Was he ready to reveal the struggles of his past? To embrace the humility of his youth? The crowd hushed, anticipation charging the air like electricity. As his past flickered in his mind, he prepared to face the very dichotomy he had embodied: wealth versus humanity. The crossroads stood dauntingly before him. Would he turn toward Sarah's light, or would he retreat into the shadows? As Sarah stood planted on that stage, uncertain yet hopeful, the community held its breath. They were waiting, hanging on Jack's next move, and so was she, her dreams trembling like fragile leaves, yearning for a chance at renewal. Would he open his heart to their cries for justice, or would he walk away, leaving their hopes in the dust? The questions loomed heavily, flooding the chilly air, uncertainties ready to intertwine their destinies. Jack's grip on the microphone tightened. The weight of his decision crashed over him like a wave. Silence clung to the night, thick and expectant. He felt Sarah's gaze pierce through the crowd, landing on him like a lifeline tossed into turbulent waters, yet instead of stepping into the light, he hesitated. Memories surged: the laughter of children in his old neighborhood, the way his mother's hands would work tirelessly to make ends meet. Those days were long gone, buried under layers of ambition and the facade of success. But tonight, he was reminded of his roots, of those who struggled in the shadows. "Sarah," he finally broke the stillness, his voice emerging like a quiet murmur, "everything you said, it resonates. The crowd leaned in, sensing the shift. But how do we bridge this gap? How do I, someone who succeeded in a world built on profits, truly help? They needed more than just words. The townsfolk had crosses to bear, and the community's needs called louder than the sirens of his past. Jack glanced at Sarah. The fire on her face ignited something in him. He took a deep breath, letting the warmth of the gathered crowd transform the chill into courage. Together, we can do something real, he continued. I want to commit to providing jobs for those affected by the factory closure. I will invest in a new project that hires from this community where the workers are valued and treated with dignity. Gasps rippled across the crowd. Hope sparkled like gold, and for the first time in years, Jack felt alive, not as a CEO, but as a member of something bigger, a family, a community willing to stand together. Sarah's eyes widened with disbelief. This wasn't just a dream, it was a chance. She stepped forward, absorbing the gravity of his words. You mean that? You really want to help us? I do, he declared, meeting her earnest stare. But it takes commitment. It will require us all to work together. The crowd erupted into applause, a collective sigh of relief intertwined with cheers of newfound hope. Faces brightened, shadows lifted, and for Jack, the task ahead felt less daunting. He could see a path forward, blending his world of wealth with the heart of Maplewood, but Sarah knew the challenge wasn't over. Jack, we need to build trust, she said softly. This is just the beginning. Can you promise to listen to us? To walk this journey with us? He nodded, feeling the weight of that promise settle in. It wasn't just a commitment for funding, but a pact to embrace vulnerability and the lessons coming from this community he barely understood. As the crowd buzzed with excitement, Jack felt lighter, but doubt still flickered in the corners of his mind. Change would be hard, disconnection lingered, and wounds ran deep. He glanced back at Sarah, who stood beaming under the glow of the festival lights, a beacon he wanted to follow. In that moment of connection, as they both breathed in the shared energy of hope, Jack sensed the stirring of growth and realization blooming in his heart. The road ahead would be rocky, filled with questions about trust and faith. Tonight is just a start, Jack, Sarah reminded him, her voice steady yet vulnerable. Let us not let fear dictate our future. We have to face our challenges, side by side. He felt the enormity of their intertwined destinies. Would he truly rise to meet this challenge, or would he fall back into old habits, allowing greed to overshadow compassion? As the crowd celebrated, one question loomed large in the air: could Jack reconcile his world with theirs and embrace the call to change? The night bristled with questions as hope danced like leaves in the wind, leaving both Sarah and Jack wondering if their journey would lead to unity or division. The night air was electric, buzzing with excitement and relief pouring from the crowd like confetti. Jack stepped down from the makeshift stage, his heart pounding against his ribcage. He felt a sense of freedom he hadn't experienced in years, mingled with an undercurrent of anxiety. Would he really be able to keep his promise? As he made his way through the throng of people, their faces glowed with a mix of hope and skepticism. He nodded and smiled, but inside, doubt squirmed. Would they really believe in him? After so many years of just focusing on profits, could Jack truly shift from an outsider to someone they could trust? Jack, wait! Sarah's voice cut through the din. Her urgency turned heads as she pushed through the crowd, determination etched on her face. He paused, allowing her to catch up. What's on your mind? He asked, hoping it was reassurance, but his gut twisted with instinctive dread. I'm thrilled about what you said tonight, but we need a plan. It's not enough to just talk about change. We need to outline our next steps, and I need you to understand what it takes for our community to trust you. Her passion was infectious, igniting a spark of alarm and excitement in him. You're right, he conceded. But where do we start? Sarah took a deep breath, glancing back at the crowd, many of whom were still absorbing his announcement. Let us hold community meetings. Bring in the people. Let them voice their needs and ideas. You may have resources, but we have knowledge of this community, what works and what doesn't. A wave of admiration for her surged as he considered her proposal. This wasn't just about investing money, it was about investing in relationships. I love that, he responded. You know the people better than I do. I'll follow your lead. Before she could respond, a group of townsfolk approached, hesitant but hopeful. They understood the risks but felt reassured by the energy in the air. Jack greeted them with open arms, eager to hear their thoughts. I know rebuilding our community is going to take time, one of the men said, a worker from the factory. But do you really think you can change things for us? Jack felt a swell of emotion. I promise to do everything in my power. It's not just about me. It's about all of us. You all have important voices, and I want to hear them. The dialogue continued, laughter mixed with solemn anecdotes as they shared stories of lost jobs and dreams deferred. Jack began to understand the human side of the struggles, and he realized how vital it was for him to listen. As the conversations flowed, he caught Sarah's eye from across the circle. She was animated, speaking passionately to a group of women who nodded vigorously, and he felt a rush of connection. It was strange but exhilarating to see how easily they rallied together. Eventually, the night became a blend of voices and visions. A sense of purpose hung in the air, like the scent of rain on thirsty soil. A plan began to take shape, one that wasn't just Jack's but the community's a tapestry woven from many threads. As the evening wrapped up and people began to disperse, a lingering feeling of camaraderie enveloped the air. Jack stilled, taking in the warmth surrounding him. But just as he began to feel assured, a familiar face appeared from the shadows, a face he hadn't expected to see. You think you can win their trust? It was Tom, an old colleague who had often reminded him that change is not a game to be played lightly. Jack's stomach turned. What are you doing here? With a sardonic smile, Tom stepped closer. I came to see if you'd really changed. Fail here, and it'll ruin you. The words sank in, heavy with the weight of truth and challenge. Jack clenched his fists. Could he rise above doubt and previous failures? As the last of the festival lights flickered in the distance, he knew the moment of truth was approaching. Would he step forward into the unknown, or shrink back into the shadows of his past? The tension in Jack's chest tightened like a knot. Tom's presence felt like an anchor drawing him down into the depths of self-doubt. He thought he was moving forward, but could he really escape the shadows, or was he destined to be pulled back by his past? Tom, this isn't just about me. It's about them, Jack replied, his voice steadier than he felt. He gestured toward the dispersing crowd. There's a movement happening here. People believe in change, and I want to be part of it. Change? Tom scoffed, eyes glinting with skepticism. You think a few heartfelt speeches can erase years of neglect? Trust takes time, Jack. And you don't have it. Jack felt heat rise in his cheeks. He could see it now, the doubt in Tom's eyes mirrored the doubts that churned in his mind. But was that something he would allow to dictate his every move? Maybe I don't have time, Jack said slowly, his gaze fixed on Tom. But what I do have is the will to try, and that's a start. Tom crossed his arms, the corners of his mouth quirking into a smirk. Try? That's a noble goal, but noble goals don't pay the bills or fill the stomachs of those counting on you. With each word, Jack's resolve strengthened. He wouldn't let Tom decide the outcome for him. Help me then, he said, surprising even himself. Instead of tearing this down, be part of it as a partner. You know this place. Help me understand it. For a moment, shock replaced sarcasm on Tom's face. But it didn't last. I don't need to get involved in your charity project, he shot back, dismissing Jack's offer as if it were dust on his shoulder. As Tom walked away, the crowd around Jack had grown smaller, but the air remained charged. Sarah was making her way back to him, eyes glimmering with curiosity. What did he want? she asked, scanning the fading festival lights, a hint of concern softening her voice. Jack shook his head. Just the usual dose of skepticism. But I think maybe he's more scared than he's letting on. He paused, his heart swelling with newfound purpose. This community deserves better than what we've given them, and I'm going to lead the way. Sarah nodded, a smile creeping back onto her face. That's the spirit. We can tackle this head-on. Let us set up a meeting for next week to gather ideas, and you can invite everyone. Officials, workers, families, every voice matters. The idea of setting that meeting sent butterflies through his stomach. What if nobody showed up? What if they didn't believe in him at all? What if they don't come? They will, she replied, unwavering. You just have to show them you're in it for the long haul. We start small, and it grows from there. Jack marveled at her confidence. Okay then. Small steps, and I'll learn along the way. As they spoke, the night felt alive around them, a mixed tapestry of hope and trepidation wrapping them both. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that each step he took forward might lead him closer to either redemption or ruin. Days later, standing in front of a community center adorned with new flyers announcing their first meeting, Jack's heart raced. This was it. He was ready to put himself out there stripped bare, vulnerable, and determined as if facing Tom again. But just as people began to filter in, a familiar car rolled to a stop at the curb. Jack squinted through the gathering crowd. Was it? Suddenly, he felt a chill down his spine. It was a figure from his past he hadn't expected, one whose presence could shake the very foundation of everything he'd worked for. Would this be another test he was unprepared for, or a chance for true redemption? He could only wait and watch. As the car door swung open, Jack's heart sank. The person stepping out was more than just a reminder of what he'd left behind. It was Rachel, his sister. He hadn't seen her since that night, the one that changed everything. The memories came rushing back like a tidal wave, suffocating him. She took a moment to gather herself, adjusting her coat as she scanned the area. When she spotted Jack, a flicker of recognition crossed her face, and for an instant, the distance of years shrank. He felt as if the air had stolen his breath. Could this really be happening? Jack, she called out, her voice trembling with hesitance. The crowd was thickening, and voices rose around them, but in that moment, all he could hear was the echo of her name. Rachel, he managed, but it was hardly a greeting. It was more a question, a complaint against fate. What was she doing here? Did she come to remind him of their past or his failures? As she approached, Jack noticed a subtle change in her expression. The earlier caution melted away, replaced with a mixture of hope and apprehension. I heard about the meeting. I didn't know if you'd want to see me, she said, her eyes searching his, trying to unravel his heart. How did you find out? He asked, struggling to keep his tone steady. Old friends, she said, a hint of laughter in her voice, but it didn't reach her eyes. I've kept up with the news about all this. Your efforts, they matter, Jack. Does it look like they matter? He shot back, glancing nervously at the neighbors and old friends gathering around him. His fears bubbled to the surface. This wasn't how he wanted to reunite. I'm still that kid in your shadow, still trying to prove I can do something. No, you're not. Rachel's voice rose, both startling him and drawing the attention of passers-by. You have to stop thinking that way. What you're doing here is brave, and you can't let those old thoughts win. I came here to support you, Jack. Jack's breath caught in his throat. The warmth of her words warmed the icy grip fear had on his heart. But he wanted to know, was she really here for him? Or had she come to judge him? Memories flashed through his mind, arguments, reconciliations, and the night that had torn them apart. As he tried to process his emotions, Sarah emerged from the crowd, a beacon of positivity. Jack, people are starting to gather. We should get this meeting started. She beamed, unaware of the whirlwind that had just blown into his life. Yeah, just a minute. He called back, still locking eyes with Rachel. He could feel his pulse in his throat, the weight of expectations pressing down on him. I'm sorry for everything, Rachel said, stepping closer. For the arguments. For not being around when you needed me. Jack opened his mouth to respond, but his voice got lost among the noise of laughter and chatter. Questions surged. Could he trust her again? Could this be a moment of healing? Let us talk later, he finally said, trying to mask his swirling feelings. I'll need your help, Rachel. He hesitated, caught between hope and the shadows of their past. I want you to believe in what I'm doing. Her expression softened, and slowly, a smile broke through. I believe in you, she replied, her words like a life raft in stormy seas. Let us make this happen. As they prepared to move into the meeting, Jack felt a flicker of hope blossom within him, chasing away the ghosts of doubt. But as the crowd began to quiet down, he felt a heavy weight in his gut. Was a fresh start truly possible, or was he simply inviting more chaos into his life? The question lingered in the air like a dark cloud. The meeting might change everything, but was he really ready for what that change would bring? Jack took a deep breath and stepped forward, the crowd buzzing like a hive of bees. People were eager, faces bright with curiosity and anticipation, drawn to him as if he were a lighthouse in a storm. But the memories of the past lurked in every shadow, a reminder of how far he'd fallen and how much he still had to prove. Welcome, everyone, he began, his voice cracking slightly. Hands gripped the edges of the makeshift podium, his palms sweaty. Thank you for coming. Your support means everything to me. As he looked out over the familiar faces, some friendly, some skeptical, he felt Rachel's presence behind him. The knowledge that she was their bolt of electricity igniting a flicker of courage reinvigorated him. But the weight of their past still clung to him like a heavy cloak that he launched into the meeting, outlining his vision for their community. Ideas flowed like a river between them, and he thrived on their energy. Laughter erupted at moments, nods of agreement filled the gaps where doubt had once reigned. Yet, through it all, a small voice in the back of his head whispered that it might not be enough. Halfway through, he caught a glimpse of Rachel in his periphery. She stood talking to someone, her hands animated, her laughter cutting through his worries. It filled him with conflicting feelings. Could they really start anew? Could he trust their bond not to snap under the strain of their shared history? He struggled to keep focus. What I'm trying to do here, it's not just for me. It's for all of us. It's a chance to rebuild, to transform this place into what it should be. The room echoed with murmurs of support. But Jack could hardly hear them over the thunder in his heart. Closing in on the end of his address, he felt a swell of emotions rising. We've faced challenges before. We've lost and we've won. It's time we come together to bring about real change. Applause broke out, and he felt a warmth spreading through his chest. Honestly, he had never expected this kind of reception. The fears that had held him captive slipped slightly away, and he reveled in that fleeting moment of triumph. But as Jack stepped down from the podium, the weight of his previous worries crashed back. People were congratulating him, shaking hands, but Rachel was still across the room. Their eyes met again, and she nodded once, a signal of determination he wasn't quite ready to interpret. Then Sarah sidled up beside him, her expression a mix of awe and admiration. You nailed it. I didn't think you'd pull that off. She was practically bouncing. Jack felt himself smiling, but the victory was bittersweet. Thanks, Sarah. But I can't help but feel there's still so much more to do. Of course there is. But today was a great start. You've got people talking about hope again. Hope. The word echoed in his mind, a blade cutting through the fog. It felt foreign yet comforting. But he couldn't ignore that gnawing question in his gut. Would it last? Would he ever have the chance to prove himself, not just to others, but to Rachel as well? As people began to disperse, Jack found himself drifting toward Rachel. He could feel the air shift, the energy between them growing. They both knew that their conversation was overdue. "Jack," Rachel said softly as he approached, her smile genuine yet vulnerable, "you were incredible up there." "Thanks," he replied, his heart racing. "I couldn't have done it without you here. It's like you brought some weird kind of magic." Her laughter was infectious, cutting through the tension. But then her smile faded, and something darker crept into her eyes. "But there's something else I need to say, something that might change everything again." His stomach twisted, dread clenching around his heart. What could she possibly mean? Could this moment of hope shatter again? The looming question hung in the air between them, heavy with possibility. What was Rachel about to reveal that might change the fragile foundation of their renewed connection? Jack stepped closer, suddenly all too aware of the crowd still buzzing around them, laughter and chatter fading into white noise. The frantic beating of his heart drowned out everything else. "Rachel, what are you talking about?" His voice was barely above a whisper, but the intensity of his gaze searched hers for answers. She took a breath, her fingers fidgeting with the edges of her shirt. "I've been thinking a lot about us. About what happened." The sincerity in her voice held a tremor that sent a shudder through him. "And I believe in everything you said up there, Jack. I really do. But there's something else weighing on my heart." As she spoke, Jack's mind raced. Memories of late-night arguments, silent treatments, and the pain of their breakup swirled together. Could all that be behind them? "You don't have to say anything if it's too much. We can take it slow." "No, you deserve to know." Rachel's eyes darkened, her resolve shining through. "I've been offered a job. A big one. Out of state New York." His breath caught in his throat. He wanted to smile, to cheer her on for landing such an opportunity. But the thought of her leaving, of her packing up and moving away, crushed something deep inside him. "When were you planning on telling me?" "I didn't want to say anything until after today. I wanted to see how you felt. How we felt." Her words were lined with a mixture of hope and fear, both reflected in the depth of her eyes. Jack felt torn. This was everything she had worked for. He'd pushed her to pursue her dreams before, but now it tightened around him like a noose. "And what if I want to try? To really try this again? Then I have a decision to make." Rachel's voice was steady but soft. "Do I take the job and push us apart again, or do I stay here, risking my career and my heart with you?" All the air left Jack's lungs. He could feel the crowd's gaze around them, judging, wondering, whispers weaving in and out like a conversation of their own. Yet all that existed was this moment, the two of them suspended in a fragile bubble of revelation and longing. His chest felt heavy as he weighed his own feelings against hers. "I don't want you to give up on your dreams for me," he said, his own voice breaking. "But I can't imagine my life without you either." She took a step closer, their breaths mingling, a charged space of vulnerability swelling between them. "There's so much at stake, Jack. I need to know if you're all in." Sweat beaded on his brow, uncertainty swirling up again, wrapping around him. But there was something in the air, a clarity burning through the fog. "I don't just want you in my life, Rachel. I want to walk this path together, no matter where it leads." Tears glistened in her eyes, a reflection of emotions swirling around the both of them. "So then, what do we do?" He looked deep into her gaze, feeling the weight of their shared past, each moment of joy and hurt equalizing like a balance sheet. "I guess we take it one step at a time." Rachel nodded slowly, almost tentatively, as they stood there, each weighed down by the significance of the moment yet comforted by the possibility. As a small smile broke free on her face, Jack couldn't help but feel something shift. But lurking close behind was that nagging sense of uncertainty. Would they be strong enough to handle the shadows that still clung close behind? Just as he dared to hope, a loud cheer erupted from the group of supporters across the room. The moment shattered, and they both turned their attention to the scene. A new discussion sparked, rumors of a town project causing excitement. Rachel caught Jack's gaze, a meaning hidden behind her smile. Maybe we can create our own change here before moving forward? Jack held her gaze, his heart swelling with possibility. Only if we do it together. But as they turned back toward the crowd, Jack's thoughts drifted uncertainly. Was this the right time to build what he wanted? Could they hold on long enough to find out? And just as the realization settled in, a familiar face from his past emerged from the crowd, bringing with it an unexpected tension that made Jack's blood run cold. What could this person want now, and how would it affect everything he had just confronted? Jack's heart raced as he caught sight of the familiar figure. It was Tyler, his former best friend, the one who had turned into a ghost in Jack's life after the fallout. Tyler's hair was a bit longer than Jack remembered, and the confident stride carried an air of arrogance that used to frustrate him. But now, it just sent waves of anxiety shooting through Jack. "Jack," Tyler called, a wide smile stretching across his face as he approached. The friendly exterior felt like a trap. Jack hesitated. The word tasted bitter on his tongue. He wanted to turn away, to escape this moment, but Rachel stood beside him, looking curiously from one man to the other. Tyler's eyes flicked to Rachel, recognition lighting up his face. "Rachel. Wow, it's been a while." He stepped towards her, almost too eagerly, as if he wanted to celebrate a victory they both lost. "You look great." Jack shot Rachel a glance. She was caught off guard by Tyler's enthusiasm, but she held her ground. "Thanks, Tyler," she replied cautiously, her grip on Jack's arm tightening instinctively. "So, what's new with you guys?" Tyler's voice was casual, but there was an edge beneath the surface. Was he fishing for something? Jack could feel the tension spill into the open space. "Just catching up," he replied, trying to keep his tone light, though dread knotted in his stomach. "Oh, right. I heard about the grant announcement. Impressive stuff, really." Tyler's eyes sparkled with something Jack couldn't pinpoint. "I've got a few ideas in mind, things that could really help with the project. Wouldn't want you guys to miss out on it." Jack could feel Rachel stiffen next to him. "What do you mean?" she asked, her curiosity piqued despite the ominous energy in the air. "Just that I've been working with a venture group in New York. I know some people who can offer support," Tyler offered smoothly. "I don't mind sharing that if it can help you, especially if it brings the community together." Beneath Tyler's words, Jack sensed an undercurrent, a positioning of power that made everything feel off. "You don't have to do us any favors," Jack interjected, trying to assert himself, hoping to forestall any lingering distrust. Rachel shot him a look, a perfect mix of anxiousness and confusion. She was trying to process everything. "If you really want to help," she began, but Jack cut her off. "Let's not talk business now," Jack insisted, glancing at Tyler, whose grin faltered at the sudden tension. "We should enjoy the celebration." Tyler's expression shifted, revealing fleeting annoyance beneath his congenial facade. "Sure, of course," he said, though the change was evident. "Just trying to help, man. Don't take it the wrong way. I know it's a big deal." "It is a big deal." Jack took a step forward, willing himself to present something strong even as his pulse quickened. He couldn't let Tyler's presence destabilize everything he and Rachel had begun to explore. "But I think we need to figure out our own path." Tyler shrugged, a casual dismissal, but Jack could feel the weight of the unspoken words that hung in the air. After a beat, Tyler clapped Jack on the shoulder. "Well, I'll be around. Let's talk later." And just like that, he walked back into the crowd, leaving Jack and Rachel in the wake of unsteady silence. Rachel turned to him, uncertainty mirrored in her gaze. "What just happened? Is he here to make trouble?" Jack sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "I don't know. But it feels like he's always had a motive. He hated how his past was crashing into his present, reminding him of shadows he thought were behind him. As the celebration resumed around them, Jack glanced back toward where Tyler had vanished. He wondered if this was just the beginning of the tension rippling through their renewed connection with Rachel. Could they really build something new with old wounds festering beneath the surface? Rachel shifted closer, her warmth reassuring, but doubt still lingered between them. Maybe we need to talk about what just happened, she suggested gently. Jack nodded, knowing deep down that putting it off would only make it worse. Just then, a cheer erupted from the crowd, and Jack felt a tightening in his chest. This was supposed to be a moment of hope. "Let us give it some time," he replied, his mind now racing through possibilities. But as they stood together, the uncertain future loomed over them. Could they find their way back to happiness when his past seemed determined to keep pulling him back? And in the midst of this swirling chaos, he felt another presence watching them, a gaze that set off alarm bells in his mind. What other surprises awaited as they navigated the waters of love and lingering bitter memories? Jack tried to shake off the weight of Tyler's presence, but the unease lingered like a storm cloud. The sounds of laughter and music from the celebration faded into the background, and all he could focus on was the grip of Rachel's hand on his arm. "Let us step outside," he suggested, nodding toward the side entrance that led to a small patio. The air felt thick, and he needed a breath of fresh air to clear the tension in his mind. "Okay," Rachel agreed, her eyes still searching his. They stepped away from the crowded space, the noise becoming muffled as the door swung shut behind them. The night was cooler, the calming breeze an immediate relief. "Jack," Rachel began as they leaned against the railing, the flickering lights of the party glowing in the background. "Tyler, he's different now. What were you feeling?" He leaned back, letting out a frustrated breath. "It's just hard seeing him after all this time. I mean, we used to be like brothers." Then, everything changed when he hesitated, the weight of memories threatening to drag him under. "I get it," she said softly, her voice steady, pulling him back. "It's normal to feel strange about it. But we need to talk about him coming back into our lives." Jack stared out into the night, trying to find words that made sense. "He wants something. I just can't shake that feeling. He suddenly shows up with help. Why now? Why here?" His stomach twisted with uncertainty. "Maybe he truly wants to help," Rachel suggested, though her doubt lingered in the air. "But if you feel uncomfortable, we need to trust that. You don't understand the history." Jack's voice rose slightly, surprising them both. "It's not just business, it's betrayal. And the last thing I want is for him to become part of this. Part of us." Rachel took a deep breath, a flicker of resolve crossing her face. "I think we have to be honest with each other. If your past is creeping back in, it's only going to make things harder for us. Is it worth revisiting? Can you let go of this?" He knew she was right, yet the thought of confronting those past choices drained him. Jack shifted his gaze from her to the distance, where a few stars broke through the clouds, almost mocking his turbulent thoughts. "We could just try to keep Tyler out, focus on us. Isn't that what matters?" Jack argued, a spark of indignation igniting in his chest. Yet even as he spoke, doubt crept back in. How could he fully let go of what that friendship meant? Rachel stepped closer, her warmth enveloping him. "I don't want any secrets between us, Jack. We need to understand what this really means." With a slow nod, he exhaled, the tension slowly dissipating. "Okay." The word came out soft, uncertain. "But I can't promise I won't react. I can't pretend I'm okay with this." As they stood side by side, Rachel's presence felt like an anchor, holding him amidst the storm of old wounds battling against new beginnings. Yet a cold breeze swept through, and Jack's gut twisted again, sensing that Tyler wasn't done yet. "Do you think he'll try to disturb us?" Rachel asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I can't imagine him walking away quietly," Jack replied, anxiety creeping back in. They held each other's gaze, a firm connection, yet shadows of uncertainty loomed. Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd inside. The moment felt suspended in time, and for a heartbeat, Jack thought he spotted a figure at the edge of the light, eyes staring straight at them. Tyler. What is he planning? Jack whispered, a chill running down his spine as the weight of what was to come settled like a heavy cloak. Rachel turned to follow his gaze, heart racing, and the night felt like it was closing in around them. Something was about to break. Would it bring them closer? Or tear them apart? Suddenly, a loud cheer erupted from the crowd inside. The moment felt suspended in time, and for a heartbeat, Jack thought he spotted a figure at the edge of the light, eyes staring straight at them. Tyler. What is he planning? Jack whispered, a chill running down his spine as the weight of what was to come settled like a heavy cloak. Rachel turned to follow his gaze, heart racing, and the night felt like it was closing in around them. Something was about to break. Would it bring them closer? Or tear them apart? As if sensing their tension, Tyler sauntered out to the patio, confidence radiating off him. Jack's heart raced as he braced himself for the confrontation. Rachel stiffened beside him, ready to face whatever was thrown at them. Tyler's smirk felt like a challenge. Didn't he expect you both to be out here having a cozy chat? His grin was disarming but predatory, and Jack could feel Rachel's breath quicken beside him. Why are you really here, Tyler? Jack asked, his voice laced with defiance. He was done with the games. Can't a guy just check in on old friends? Tyler's charm was thinly veiled insincerity. Friends don't stab each other in the back, Jack replied, the fire igniting in his belly. Memories of betrayal washed over him, deepening the divide that had never truly healed. Look, Jack, Tyler said, leaning against the railing as if they were old pals, I'm here to offer help like I said before. How about you let me support your little project? You could really use it. Tyler's tone was too smooth, too rehearsed. Rachel's eyes darted between them, searching for certainty. We're not looking for handouts from you, she interjected, the strength in her voice startling even her. Sure you're not, Tyler shrugged, dismissing her words. But if you find yourselves floundering, I'll be right there, ready to catch you. Jack clenched his jaw, feeling the tension crackle in the air. We don't need you, Tyler. We've got this. Is that so? Tyler leaned in, his arrogance tangible, a storm brewing behind his smile. I just wonder how long before you two realize that change is messy. Maybe you'll be looking for an escape route. Enough, Jack said, the fight rising within him. You came here to gloat, not help. Why don't you just Jack? Rachel's hand squeezed his arm. Let us not engage. He's trying to provoke us. But Tyler wasn't finished. Face it, this is the same old Jack, worried about losing control. What did you think? That just because you gave a good speech, everyone would forget your past? The shadows of doubt crept in again, but Jack shook them away, willing himself to stand strong. My past doesn't define me. I'm choosing a different path, one that matters to the community. Rachel nodded, her support lifting him higher. And we're determined to make it work, with or without you. Tyler's smile faltered for just a moment, revealing the insecurity hidden beneath his bravado. Fine. Do what you want. But don't come crying to me when things go south. With that, Tyler turned and walked away, the tension dissipating with his retreat. Rachel released her breath, and Jack felt the adrenaline wane. Hey, she said softly, her eyes searching his. You stood your ground. Jack exhaled, leaning back against the railing, letting the cool air wash over him. Thanks for being there. He hesitated, looking into her eyes. I was scared. I know. It's hard to face the past, she said gently. But we're doing this together. Don't forget that. In the distance, music and laughter swirled through the air, testament to the spirit of determination in the community. Jack smiled, feeling the warmth of her presence merge with the lights illuminating the patio. Somehow, they would make this work. As they returned to the celebration, hand in hand, Jack's heart surged with renewed hope. Conversations flowed around them, echoes of laughter punctuating the air. Jack, Sarah approached them, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Did you see the attendance? People are really into this. It's a real chance for all of us. Yeah, the energy is amazing, Jack replied, glancing at Rachel, who nodded in agreement. We can make something meaningful happen here, can't we? Absolutely. Sarah beamed, her positivity infectious. And with Jack stepping up, I really think we can create opportunities. Change is coming. The applause of the crowd grew louder, embracing Jack and Rachel like a warm hug, and though the challenges ahead were numerous, Jack felt anchored in the moment. The future was still unwritten, full of decisions yet to be made, but he knew one thing for certain: they were stronger together, and for the first time in a long while, he felt ready to embrace whatever came next with Rachel by his side. Stepping into the glow of hope and the rhythm of community, Jack grinned, taking a deep breath. He had faced a storm, but now he was rising with the sun. Together, they would navigate the winds of doubt into brighter tomorrows. You need to subscribe now for more inspiring stories, leave a like now to feed the algorithm, comment your reactions and feelings about this exciting ending, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share your thoughts. This is the moment to show your support.